Well, good evening, y'all, and welcome back to Apron Strings. Today we're going to talk again about our potato flake sourdough bread starter. Now, we started our starter on, was it Wednesday? Thursday? And we had to leave it on the counter 24 hours, and then we put it in the ice box for 3 to 5 days, and today's my third day. So what you do on this starter, you start it in the last video that I had, that's the beginning of the starter. I'll put a link below, and then the banana pudding is in that one. Tells you how to make your starter. So we've had ours in the ice box for 3 days, and the process is this: you make it, you leave it out for 24 hours. You put it in the ice box for 3 to 5 days. You bring it out and you feed it with a cup of warm water, 3 tablespoons of potato flakes, and 3/4 of a cup of sugar. You stir that up real good and you let it set out for about 12 hours. Then you put it back in the ice box. That was your first feeding. You do the same thing in 3 to 5 days for your second feeding. You let it set out for 12 hours and you put it back in the ice box. 3 to 5 days later, you bring it back out and you feed it, and then it's ready for you to make bread. Now, it takes 1 cup of the starter for your bread. Now, after you fed it your 2 times and you're feeding it the 3rd time, getting ready to make bread, look at it, and it should have some activity in there. It should be bubbling. It's not going to foam up, but it's going to bubble and it's going to smell sour. If it doesn't, you might want to feed it another time or 2 before you use it for bread, because that's your leavening and it has to be active. Now, when you bring it out and you decide that you don't want to make bread, but it's been 3 to 5 days, you have to feed this one every 3 to 5 days. You take a cupful out, discard the rest, feed that cupful, and put it back into the refrigerator. Because the recipe says keep it in the refrigerator 3 to 5 days and feed it again. If you're not making bread, throw out 1 cup of starter, but it must be fed after 5 days. So you're going to take a cup out as though you were making bread with it and discard it, and then just put the rest of your starter back in the ice box to bring out 3 to 5 days and feed again. And you'll kind of get the hang of it, working with it and seeing it bubble and how it works. So we made our starter, we let it set out 24, we put it in for 3 to 5 days. Now we've just done our first feeding. I put mine in here, stirred it around real good, and I've got it ready to go on the cabinet. A cup of warm water, 3 tablespoons of potato flakes, and 3/4 cups of sugar. And I stirred it up really good. I'm going to leave this out for 12 hours on my, and if it's a little longer, it's not going to hurt. I'm going to leave it on the counter, and then I'm going to give it a good stir and put it back in the ice box. That's feeding number 1. And then I'm going to bring it back out in 3 to 5 days, and I'm going to feed it again. The same thing, leave it out 12 hours and put it back in the ice box. That will be feeding number 2. Then in 3 to 5 days, when I bring it out and I feed it again and leave it out for 12 hours, then I'm ready to take a cup of that starter and make my bread. And if you have way too much starter, just be sure you save you a cup or so to feed again. And it doesn't hurt to have more than a cup, but you need a cup or cup and a half, because when you feed it, see, that's going to give you your cup for your bread plus some to put back in the ice box. So this was our first feeding. 3 to 5 days, I'll do my second feeding. And then I'll put it back up. Then when I bring it out for that third feeding, if it's bubbling and it's smelling sour, and I can't smell, I'll have to get somebody else to smell for me, COVID, then I'll make my bread. And I'm not going to video my next feeding, but I am going to video when I make my bread. So watch for part 3, making sourdough potato flake bread. That's how I will label it, and that way y'all know that's the one where I'm doing the bread. But right now we're just trying to get our starter active and going, and keep it going where we can make bread. Now, the first time I made this bread, we had a couple come and work in our church to help the pastor out, and his wife had a feeder that she had kept going for years, and she gave me a start, and I used it for quite a while, and then I just let it die, and so finally I found a recipe to start my starter again, so I'm real anxious to make my potato flake bread again. It doesn't get big and tall and fluffy like some breads do. It's a little bit more dense, but the flavor is so unique. And even a tuna fish sandwich, you can put that tuna in there and toast that bread, and man, it's got a good flavor. So I think y'all will love it. So for today, I'm not cooking anything. I'm just telling y'all about this bread, this starter, and what to do. And I'm going to try to type in the information below where you'll know what to do next and have the recipe for the actual bread. But I will do a video the day I make the bread. Now I want to tell y'all again, be getting you some stuff on your shelves to make your holiday goodies. Don't wait till the last minute and it not be there. You know, look at your recipes for your usual things that your family likes and start picking a few things up along, because we don't know what's going to happen in our world, in the shipping world, in the production world. You might lose your job and not have the money to buy it 2 or 3 months down the road. So if you'll start ahead of time, you and your whole family are going to be so glad to have goodies for the holidays. So just think about that and be wise. Mama, you're the one that's responsible for the food. And you don't want to disappoint a bunch of people, whether it's adults or children. If everybody comes to your house for Christmas and there's supposed to be goodies on the counter, you want those goodies on the counter. So try to, you know, plan your grocery list and pick up a little bit each week so you'll have your stuff ahead of time. I'm going to get over there and get this uploaded and type up the recipe. And I'm not cooking today or making anything. We're just talking about bread. And I will be back in a day or two with another good recipe. But right now, y'all need to get all this written down so you'll know what to do to make your bread. And it's going to be another 3 days. And then it's going to be another week before we make bread. But it's going to be worth the wait. It's very yummy. And you know what? This is something to have because we might not can get the stuff we need. We might not can get yeast or whatever. So this is another alternative way of having something to feed your family. The good Lord bless and keep y'all. I know this video is different and it's not as long, but it's a good one to copy down what I've got here and make you some bread. And I'll see y'all again in a day or two with a good casserole or something. Take care of yourselves and the good Lord bless you.